China setting the currency at midpoint higher, saying essentially flushing out the shorts in the market to say, hey, we're not actually tolerating any currency depreciation. Is this trend likely to filter out into the rest of the region? Are the other central banks thinking about doing the same thing?
I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's really a very big issue rather than just isolated to China. What we're seeing is US rates starting to move up at a much faster pace. And here in emerging markets, there are fears that some of Trump's policies may be counterproductive to this side of the region. So in fact, rates could go the other side and start to weaken as central banks cut rates here. So this increasing spread is causing a lot of outflows from this region back into the US. And what we're seeing is weaker currencies, for example, in China. So the authorities have to come in. So we're seeing that both in Indonesia, in Malaysia, and many other countries which have received a lot of these high yield funds for the high yields and so on and so forth. That's been an outflow. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, speaking of Malaysia, I mean, that's going to be a key concern because they were one of the weakest currencies last year. Are we hearing capital controls? Is this likely to come up?
I doubt so. I think the Malaysians have learned their lessons with respect to capital controls, and i.e. that is having set the precedents, you have to deal with the historical aspect. For example, now the reason why the market's solely talking about is there capital controls is because they've done it before. I don't think they really want to go down that road. I'm not so concerned about ringgit weakness. Just an example, I think foreigners are out of the stock market. I think whoever wants to go out from the bond markets, they are out. What I'm concerned is with respect to dollar strength. Because if you remember in 2014, when the dollar index actually went up about 15-20%, what we saw was even currencies like the Sing dollar, which was relatively strong at 125, move up to 140. We saw currencies like the ringgit lose about 20%. Yes, so this could actually happen. So it's not so much that the domestic currencies are weak, it's this dollar which is strong. So I think that could be a problem going ahead.